Hello everyone, Swimbard here. Let's talk about Power Rangers. No, not that one. I mean the original Power Rangers from the 90s, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Sure, it's based around the original Japanese TV show Super Sentai, with using action footage from that show and mixing it with new footage for American audiences. Power Rangers really caught on with those action scenes and its characters. Yeah, it's corny with its dialogue and sense of humor, but it did leave an impact for those who grew up with it, and having to last for over 20 years with various incarnations and such. And I myself happened to enjoy the show as well when it came out, though the last series I remember watching was Time Warp. Nowadays it's hard for me to remember a single episode and only remember some bits of it, but I still remember the good times I had with it, not to mention the awesome theme song. And here is their first foray into the movies. And not only did I like it as a kid, but it was also the first movie I remember seeing in theaters. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. While the Power Rangers, as their non-super selves, are having fun skydiving and rollerblading, an egg was discovered buried underground in a chamber at a construction site, and the Rangers were called upon by Zordon, who tells the Rangers that the chamber contained an evil force named Ivan Ooze, a morphological being who ruled the world 6,000 years ago, and became imprisoned in the chamber. But Ivan is released by Lord Zed and Rita Repulsa, who send him out to destroy Zordon. Of course, Ivan does manage to rid Zordon and unleash his henchmen on the Power Rangers. But once the Rangers finish off the henchmen, they lose their power and find out that Zordon is dying, and all the power is gone. But Alpha 5 tells the Rangers of the great power on the distant planet Phaedos that will help Zordon and them fight Ivan. So the Rangers are sent to Phaedos to get the new power with the help of Master Warrior Dosea and learn the secrets of the Ninjetti. All the while, Ivan Ooze takes over as leader and imprisons Lord Zed and Rita in a snow globe, and along with Goldar and Mordant as his new servants, Ivan brainwashes the parents of Angel Grove to dig up his insect machines and unleash them onto the city, and while a boy named Fred tries to stop this. One of the things about this movie that is true to the original show is the way it handles its action scenes. Where the original show used stock footage from Super Sentai for the action scenes, the movie's action scenes are original, and they are good for what they show, capturing how the original Japanese show did it as well as adding some new bits. They are just fun to witness. It might be a bit standard these days, but they still work. The effects, on the other hand, didn't seem to bother me so much as everyone says how bad they are. Of course, the original showed footage from Super Sentai that featured the Zords and monsters as people in costumes. The Zords and monsters in this film are again original, with some being animatronic, costume men, and computer animated. But everyone has a strong disagreement with the CGI in that it's pretty dated. But for me, I really didn't mind it. Yeah, it's of the time with the textures and such, but I still appreciate it because sometimes it moves smoothly and other times it moves like stop motion. But it did present a cool third act that I enjoyed as a kid and I find passable nowadays. And I do love the designs of these mechanical monsters, especially the Scorpion, of how scrawny it looks and moves. And even the skeletal Triceratops that is like there, where one or two shots look like stop motion. And the people in costume are all fine. But even so, the characters are the main driving force of this movie. Of course there are the characters from the show, and they have the same likability and fun nature with them. But they also spread out one-liners during their action scenes, and while I do get what they mean, they're not that funny, even as a kid. Well, maybe one or two, but that's it. Though I don't remember seeing Mordant in the original show, either because he's created for the movie or I wasn't paying attention, but he came across as being new to me. And speaking of new, those types of characters are good in their own right. Fred does seem fine as the boy who knows something's wrong and plays a big part in the third act. But his relationship with his dad seems underdeveloped and could have been done more. Dosea, aside from looking like a sexy-clad jungle woman, does have a rough and tough attitude, yet is helpful when she needs to be. But the one character that is enjoyable throughout is Ivan Ooze. He's simply the most fun to watch, and yeah, he does crack one-liners, but again, he's likely the best part of the film. I like the scenes he's in as a kid, and he's still a bit of fun these days as well. He's most likely my favorite character in the film. And the actors that play their roles are good for what they offer. Karen Ashley plays Aisha Campbell / the Yellow Ranger. Johnny Young Bosch plays Adam Park / the Black Ranger. Steve Cardinians plays Rocky DeSantos / the Red Ranger. Jason David Frank plays Tommy Oliver / the White Ranger. A.B. Joe Johnson plays Kimberly Hart / the Pink Ranger. David Yost plays Billy Cranston / the Blue Ranger. Paul Schreiner plays Farkas Bark Balkmeyer. Jason Narvey plays Eugene Skolchovich. Paul Freeman plays Ivan Ooze. Gabrielle Fitzpatrick plays Dulcia. Nicholas Bell plays Zordon. Peter Marie Rixton plays Alpha 5. Julia Cortez plays Rita Repulsa. Mark Ginther plays Lord Zed. And Jamie Croft plays Fred Keelman. Not to mention the actors who dubbed over some of the live characters, and they done good as well. Robert Axelrod voices Lord Zed. Barbara Goodson voices Rita Repulsa. Richard Wood voices Alpha 5. But that's it. As a whole, this movie is fine. The characters are alright, the story is fine, and the effects, though of the time, are alright. Director Brian Spicer has done a fine job of bringing the Power Rangers from the TV show to the big screen. That's pretty much an upgrade. Yes, there are one-liners, a couple of missing bits, and dated effects, but the things that the original show is known for were the action scenes, despite coming from another source, and its characters. And this movie is like an upgraded version of the show. I liked it when I first saw it in theaters and on VHS, and nowadays, it's alright. And yes, it is better than the 2007 reboot film. So today, this movie we get a rating of 2.5+ stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, and tune in next week for a new video. Yeah, it's time for another review of a movie I saw in theaters, and it was an early IMAX screening of it. So here it is, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, here's another movie I got an advanced screening of the day before its release. It's the theatrical version of the Stephen King classic novel, It. The story is set in Derry, Maine during the summer of 1989, where 7 kids, each of whom have a troubling life, encounter their fears posed by a clown named Pennywise. But the kids find out that the clown is a creature they refer to as It, who kills kids every 27 years after a massive disaster in Derry, to which every adult ignores and assumes the kids are missing or dead, without any mention of the clown or whatnot. And so the small group of kids try to locate where Pennywise lives, and eventually try to kill him. Director Andy Muschietti has made a horror film that is pretty scary for what it is, with good characters, a nicely done story, and pretty good effects. And while at first I thought Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise looked childish based on the advertising, I was pretty surprised by his performance, and overlooked my first impression of him, because he's chillingly good as the clown, and is scarier than Tim Curry's take on the character. The film has lots of scary moments and frightening images that made me shiver and feel shocked after seeing it. I'm not kidding. But there's also plenty of funny moments as well. And despite not reading the book and having seen the 1990 TV miniseries, I say that this version is better than the latter, and is a scary good film. So today I'm giving this movie a rating of 3 stars. And that is it. So thank you for joining me, like, comment. And that is it. So thank you for joining me, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, and tune in next week for a new video.